the Faculty of Architecture and Visual Arts. Let me start by recognising the Indigenous owners of this place and the fact that they continue to practice their culture in this place. I'm going to just quickly talk for 15 minutes or so, and then we're going to have a chance to have a drink and some food outside so we can catch up and talk about this faculty in the future, this faculty. I guess I want to talk a bit about the university for those of you who have lost touch with the university, then a bit about ALVA, and then finish with a few sort of special items. But this university has got 5 goals. That's to actually get the best quality staff it can, to attract the best quality students, to give those students the finest educational experience it can deliver, to try and produce research of the highest standard, and lastly, and most recently, to actually internationalise itself and its offerings. And these are its current goals, and these goals are a 5-year planning cycle. And those goals, I think, can be said are those also of this faculty. ALVA itself, as a faculty, in its current position, has changed from some of your memories and experiences. It's still small, but it's not a boutique anymore. We have over 1,000 students. We've got about 50 permanent staff of one form or another in both professional and academics categories. We have probably, I'm not sure how many sessional staff would come in, probably 50 or 100 staff each year would come in and assist in the teaching about 1,000 or so students. And we are growing, and we're growing quite strongly as this university grows and attempts to actually make itself a slightly larger institution. In 2010, the faculty did some great things. A lot of the particular things that staff do and our students do get picked up in various outlets that I can introduce you to. We've started publishing an electronic newsletter called ALVA, which is available on the website, and there you'll get a sense of the enormous achievements and contributions and influences the staff are having, not just in Perth, but around the country and around the world. So I didn't want to single out the staff in particular. But certainly, some of the greatest achievements, I think we are actually attracting more and more students of better and better quality. So I think we're probably, as well as anybody in the institution, meeting that mission of trying to actually attracting the best students. We are offering a great education within our limits and means, and the indicators of all the indicators in terms of staff achievements on some of the more bureaucratic measures are very strong in terms of the Excellence in Research Australia trials that have been released and the amount of income each staff member is producing. The sort of places our staff are actually publishing are of the sort of the highest quality. I thought I could now use my invitation illustration to actually sort of explain where the faculty is and where the faculty is going and perhaps where it might want to go in the future. And I guess this diagram, it really is a sort of started with just a sort of a plan of our big black building over on the other side of the campus, and then you can see it's got these protrusions which kind of represent our current growth and aspirations, and then a few clouds where we probably want to go over the next 5 years. In terms of the inside of the big square, what I'd like to, I guess, talk about today is perhaps start by looking at that big amorphous blob where we've got centred around sort of the staff why. It's the university's belief, and I guess I share that, in order to actually take our work, take our research, take our students to the next level, we need to actually grow groups, we need to grow critical mass around big issues and themes. So that sort of strange blob where we bring together staff, we bring together HDR, postgraduate students, we bring together adjunct staff, we actually create effectively groups or teams that can actually address some of these big issues. I think it's vital for our faculty to contribute to the university's mission which is in fact to become one of the great institutions in the world. And this faculty is moving down that direction. We've done lots of other things, I guess, in 2010. We've started to get more flexible in our delivery of programs. We're offering courses remotely with staff being in the eastern states. We're trying to use the timetable so we can give a lot more flexibility to students. We're trying to teach intensively, partly in response to our demand and increasing demand into the space, but we feel it's a great opportunity to actually break open our our program and make it more attractive to different sorts of people. We're starting to network the entire building. We're starting to reconfigure how we offer our art offerings in terms of their spatial needs and the sort of students who get a chance to actually study in the arts with us. Through the Chisholm bequest, we're attracting major national and international visitors to the faculty, and this is again a request by the late Ross Chisholm to the faculty to actually bring people to UWA to work on, in collaborative means, so work on projects which actually must have people from various disciplines, and also to disseminate that information. The Cullity Gallery, again, a donation from the Cullity family many years ago, still continues to be used for various exhibitions, and again I can say that next year we're going to mount a major retrospective of the work of the Perth architect Raymond Jones. But as you can see, the building's starting to be broken down by all these protrusions or aspirations of things we're currently working on. Some of these have physical implications, some of them are more intellectual, some are actually more strategic. So we've started to, for example, work with major engineering groups like ACOM in collaborative research and teaching initiatives, in this case in the community of Warburton in far eastern Western Australia, looking at a particular cultural building for that community. We've got many partners already who are working on with students in research areas. For example, in Landcore we're working with DPI, we're working with Forest Growth Commission we're working with, and in the last month I've had representations from the group BGC, from the City of Cannington and from the City of Perth to actually start working with the faculty on various projects which involve our students and our staff, usually from various disciplines or more than one discipline, and most importantly to actually work on major problems facing contemporary society. We're looking at hopefully producing or procuring or developing or acquiring or building up a field station so we can actually take our students, particularly our younger students, actually into the West Australian environment so they can actually appreciate what it is to make places and spaces in a particular place. We've had major representations at Venice over the last 3 Venice Biennales, and that's probably one before that I can mention as well. So probably for the last 4 Biennales, staff at this faculty have made major contributions. I think I can count up, 7 or 8 staff and the faculty have actually had their work represented at the leading international exhibition for architecture around the world. And Jeff London, I think, this year was actually the chairman of the overseeing committee for Australia's Pavilion in Venice. The Urban Design Centre is re-establishing or moving in the city from one premise to another as the university commits to maintaining or mainstreaming the collaborative venture between the Department of Infrastructure and the faculty in the delivery of an urban design program in the city of Perth. We're starting to work in other more interesting areas of things like fundraising. As this university's budget from the Commonwealth Government continues to decrease, I can tell you it's now less than 50% of the money from the university comes from the Commonwealth. The other 51% comes from all sorts of other partnerships and relationships and grants and initiatives that the university is now undertaking. So I can tell you that fundraising will be a big initiative for the university's faculty over the next 5 years to start with. And again, we'll be commencing on that next year to try and imagine how we might work with various partners to in fact bring some resources into the university to match the other half that the government is contributing to higher education in this country. We're trying to develop a thing called the Design Hub with the university, which is in fact the old Masonic Hall over on Broadway, into an event space that is a series of shop front galleries which can be in fact run by our staff and our students, so we can actually have 2 running galleries at all times on Broadway. Above that there will be arts and residence studios, so we can actually bring to Western Australia, to the UWA campus, artists, and there's accommodation provided around the corner in some university accommodation. So again, part of the cultural precinct initiative of the university is to actually concentrate artistic creative activities in a particular part of the campus, and I'm happy to say we're on the axis as we sit here. And if you need to know more, if you look for a pink flag outside, you'll see that you're actually in this cultural precinct. And again, the university over the last 3 years has made a major commitment to the creative arts being taught, research, practiced at this university through a number of appointments and a number of funding initiatives. In part, its recognition that if it needs to be, if it wants to maintain its comprehensiveness, it actually needs to maintain a commitment to creative arts.